Hello, people of Earth. We are back.
We
Um,
come in peace.
that's right. We come in peace. Take us to your leader. And
Actually, don't.
you know what? Yeah, you know what? Don't. Because I know who our leader is, let's not do that.
Let's just hang out with cool people.
Yeah, let's just hang out right here with you guys. I'm joined today by Gabe, of course. How are you doing today, Gabe?
I'm awake.
He sure is. He just woke up about like 20 minutes ago.
Give or take.
So he's full of energy and raring to go. Um,
Just full of pep.
and
Piss and vinegar, some might say.
that's that's right. And today's topic is a doozy. You know what? I am actually really hyped for today's topic. This is not in a good way. It's not a fun topic, okay? But this is just one of those topics that just gets me raring to go. I breathe in air and I expel hate and I'm just I'm like I'm ready to do this. So, um we're going to be talking about Nintendo. Uh a
Nintendo.
yeah, a big yikes on that one. Um and let me just make a disclaimer here. Me and Gabe both love Nintendo. Okay, I think they're an amazing company. They do a lot of great work. In a lot of ways I would say their toy maker roots probably help them in the long run because they focus on making their games fun. Um, and they always, let me rephrase this. Nintendo understands the value of creative integrity and what art is to games, and I've always respected that. Most of the time, sometimes it doesn't work out. But what I'm trying to say is this topic, it comes from a place of love. All right. Um, we in no way want to hate on anybody. Um, and with this podcast, I try not to be negative anyway, despite my handle being negative Sanchez. Um, I this is not like like a huge beatdown type of podcast. We are game designers ourselves, and we're going to analyze Nintendo. That being said, they are a big company. They're a big boy, and I think they can handle it. When I say they've been doing some stuff that I don't really agree with, and if you're a fan of the internet, you've probably you all right, Gabe?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, you've probably been privy to some of those things. Um, Gabe, you want to interject with anything?
Uh, let's see.
I mean,
I did not own a Nintendo console until the Game Boy Color. Uh, my first home console from Nintendo was the Nintendo GameCube, even though I wanted the Nintendo 64, play
GameCube was
Star
great.
Fox and Smash Brothers and all that.
Yeah.
Uh, but my uncle had a Sega Genesis, and I played that.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom said, "We're getting a PlayStation because it has more games," and I don't regret that. uh,
Indeed.
I may have been disappointed in the moment, but I
Yeah.
mean, I enjoyed a lot of
Maybe
games.
in the long run.
Ha. Um, but
But yeah, so he's fully
uh,
qualified to talk about.
so qualified. But like, I there are about as many things I admire about Nintendo as I find disappointing in Nintendo.
Yeah,
So
I was just thinking Nintendo is so they're a company who can't catch a break. They always seem to step one step forward and then two steps back. And coming
It,
upon
it used to be they took 3 steps forward, just and no steps back.
and zero steps back. Yeah, but here lately, coming upon kind of a slow year, with the exception, I would say, of Animal Crossing and the reveal of Steve in Smash Brothers. Um,
Well, I mean, it's been a slow year for everyone,
it's been slow for everyone. Yeah, so that's not really fair to say.
but there are, uh, like on the topic of Animal Crossing, I
Yeah.
don't play it myself. I know you and Mel do, but
Oh
a
yeah.
good friend of mine does, and she likes, New Leaf. New Leaf, right? No, not New
It's
Leaf.
no New Horizons is the
Horizons.
Switch one.
Horizons.
Yeah.
That's right. Uh, she enjoys Horizons,
Yep.
uh,
And actually,
but
it's been
but
nominated for a Game of the Year award. So kudos.
her major gripe
Mm-hmm.
is that she wishes that they would start adding new content instead of putting content back in.
I don't
Uh,
understand what that means. I
so,
guess.
uh, so to my knowledge, and she's talked about this to me before, is most of the updates to Horizons are features that existed baseline in the previous game, and she
Hmm.
is hoping that she's hoping soon that they can start putting new things into the game instead of things that were there but didn't start there.
I will. I see where she's coming from. I will agree with that, but I will also add the addendum that, um, at launch, like terraforming is completely new to Animal Crossing. Um,
Well, this is true. That you have
yeah,
to, like, Nintendo's
I mean
not
you have
going
to unlock
to.
it, but yeah, yeah, and there was a lot of quality of life things such as the the ability to select tools at will, the feature where you can design your home. So I get where she's coming from, such as like with diving, and that was all a new leaf, right? Like the ability to add stuff out in your town, that was all new leaf too. So I get where she's coming from. Maybe she means as far as like new updates. Um, as
Yeah,
far as
like,
that, yeah, I agree.
because she like all of the updates since launch have been uh, bringing back old
Things
features.
that have been in New Leaf, yeah,
Yeah.
and I would agree with that too. Um, so let's talk about the first thing that that is on the list. That struck me pretty weird, and even a couple of other people, and that's the release of Super Mario 3D All Stars. Which, hooray! It's a really great game. You know,
Collection of games.
it's a great
If I
collection of games. Yeah, of all classics. Um, but you also have to take into consideration that this collection is only available until March of next year, and yikes, like uh,
Yeah, you have oh, what's the term? Uh,
like a limited release kind of thing.
limited
Um,
release, but also what is it? What is it? Uh, manufactured scarcity.
yes, yeah, yes, exactly. Which you know, that's it's already a bad thing because um, and Nintendo isn't the only or first one to do this. You saw
No, not at all.
Disney did it with their like
It goes
classic.
back in the vault for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. So it's yeah, by and large, they didn't set the trend, but it is a very weird one because it creates a false sense of scarcity, and automatically scalpers are buying this game, like from the get go, and pretty
Yeah.
soon the only way you'll be able to get that game is for $100 on eBay. You know, um,
Yeah.
this is also taking into consideration the fact that um, really they're just uh, I think it runs at 60 FPS, but like other than that, there really isn't a whole lot of changes to my knowledge. And modders have been like, you know, put it like emulating Mario 64 for a long time in glorious
For
HD
for like decades.
decades in 60 FPS, you know, which is like that's the that's the bare minimum, really.
Also, there's like I've heard that there are some like several issues, technical issues
Oh yeah.
with Mario Sunshine, especially.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there was actually a couple of glitches, which I think they've patched recently. But yeah, it released with some glitches that were pretty game breaking actually too. Um, so there's that. Good on them for going back and fixing it, but
it
uh,
shouldn't have been like it shouldn't have been a problem in the
to
first
begin with,
place.
correct? Yeah. And like this is also one of those things where I thought, well, maybe it's like a one time thing. You know, Mario is their golden goose, and you know they want to keep him relevant for a long time. But then there's a Fire Emblem re-release too, the original one that was Japan only, and it's also a limited release. So um, this is beginning to be like a weird, scary trend. And considering the fact that there's no virtual console and Nintendo has no plans to really re release these games, it's not surprising why people seek emulation. Well,
Because it is at present a superior product.
let me make a disclaimer. I in no way am supporting piracy or saying that you should go out and rip these games. However, I understand it. You know what I mean? To make more clear my point. Um, because, yeah, like you said, as a present, it's the superior and practically only way, other than buying a Japanese NES
Yeah,
and getting
buying
Fire Emblem.
yeah the same issue with Mother 3,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
and there are
exact
uh,
same issue.
like the
Where's Mother 3?
like there is
Oof.
like just recently I played through Mega Man Legends and Misadventures of Tron Bonne
Mm-hmm.
for some friends,
Yeah.
uh, and those games are like I think the last time
Them are old
like
games.
the, yeah those are old games. So those are old games, and Misadventures of Tron Bonne is an exceedingly rare game
Yeah.
as it was only released in a very limited window on the PS1.
Yeah.
However, you can purchase these games legitimately on the PlayStation 3 PlayStation Store.
Exactly. Yeah.
However, there is at present no other way to obtain those games. So to obtain those games legally without purchasing the physical
The
discs
physical disc. Yeah.
from ostensibly collectors at this point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Who probably hike up the price.
they're oh yeah, like Misadventures of Tron Bonne is routinely one of the most expensive PlayStation 1 discs on the secondhand
Oh
market.
yeah. I believe it. I believe
Um,
that shit.
but yeah, there is presently
No other
like
way.
yeah, presently there are just superior ways to uh like right now Nintendo and many other companies with a long history and a large library are failing their customers by delivering inferior re-releases.
Right.
Uh,
And the
whether it's inferior by the way of emulation or the re-implementation uh, old of old spoofed hardware,
yeah,
or inferior by or inferior by access.
yeah, and
Uh,
it's weird to me. It's confusing to me because these companies are making statements that are like, "Oh, piracy is getting worse and worse," and it's like, well, yeah, no shit.
yeah, Nintendo so having taken down several ROM
ROM
companies,
sites, yeah.
uh, and so uh, like emulators themselves by themselves, the things that imitate obsolete hardware are at present completely legal.
Right.
The uh,
Yeah,
ROMs and isofiles,
if you
yeah,
own the disc, it's totally legal
yeah,
to
you can download an emulator, and if you have a disk drive, you can put your PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox games into your disk drive
mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
run it with an emulator on your PC. That is
Yeah,
completely legal. Uh, the
true.
murky area is with ROMs and ISOs.
Right.
Uh, the especially with uh, ostensibly abandonware at this point,
Mm-hmm.
because uh, there is.
Abandonware. I
Like,
like that term.
I mean, it's an existing term, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's essentially abandonware. Like
Pretty much. Yeah.
Einhander for the PS1 suffers the same issue with the Legends games.
Yeah.
Einhander is a SquareSoft property uh, that they routinely reference in modern games, World of Final Fantasy, uh, and several others where the Einhander ships are bosses or
Huh.
cameos, uh, and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
their Kingdom Hearts 3 has an Einhander reference. You fight one of the
Really?
bosses as a secret boss. Yes.
Wow.
And
I didn't know
there
that. That's
there's
interesting.
even a blueprint for an Einhander gummy ship uh, in the game. And
Okay, that's pretty cool.
so there are people at Square Enix today that remember Einhander
Remember
and
this game. Yeah.
that yeah that remember this game and apparently love it and like enjoy it and love it enough to put it in cameos because uh, is an often overlooked gem from their earliest exploration into 3D games. It
Yeah.
was made immediately after uh, FF7,
Yeah.
uh, Final Fantasy 7, the original, uh,
Right. Yeah.
and it was just an arcade shooter. And it was like I replayed
It was a
that as
damn good
well
one. Yeah.
recently, and it's tough as
Yeah.
like it's tougher than I remember on the normal difficulty. Uh,
I don't
and
remember like much about like the difficulty, but I do remember it being very pretty. So,
Oh, it's gorgeous.
yeah.
Like if they just if they re-released a if they re-released a like HD version, just HD the textures up, pretty it up, like that would be amazing
It's
to
never
me.
gonna happen,
It's
but
never going to happen. Like they're never going to do more
I'm
than
with you,
re-release
buddy.
this. And
Yeah.
so Legends and Tron Bonne are available in America on PS3. Einhander is not available on the PS3 in America. It's only available on PS3 in Japan if
Yeah.
you have a Japanese account. So Einhander is even harder to get.
Yeah.
Uh,
And so the only way to really play it uh,
is to have a
download a
physical
ROM
is to have a physical disc and play it
or
with your
have a physical
emulator or
disc.
old PS1
Which brings
or
me,
or PS2.
or PS2. Which brings me to my next topic, um, about Super Smash Brothers Melee, and um, a lot of people have been talking about this this shit. I don't know if you've heard about it, Gabe,
Hmm.
but yeah, for those at home who don't know, there was a tournament. I can't remember what it was called, but it was for Smash Brothers Melee, and it was supposed to be online. Now, Melee doesn't have online capabilities, but they hacked it and added software called Slippy. I believe that's what they were using, which essentially gives um, Melee rollback netcode and lets you play it online. And with the pandemic going on, COVID-19 and all, it's pretty much the only way they can play. At least in a big setting such as that. And they were just going to play an online tournament. Using Smash Brothers Melee, it has a huge community, but Nintendo gave them the cease and desist, and they were forced to shut it down.
Yeah, I'm reading the
This
Verge
the
article on
clip,
this.
yeah. Kotaku even did a thing on it, and when Kotaku starts making sense, you have royally fucked up. So, um, and it sucks. It really does suck, and it's Nintendo's statement. They made a statement on it, and I think it boiled down to the fact that they were.
Unfortunately, the upcoming Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament for Smash Brothers Melee
Yes.
that required the use of the legally copied versions of the game in conjunction with a mod called Slippy during their online event.
Yep. Yeah.
Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers to ask them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo no choice but to step in to protect its intellectual property and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual property. That is part of the official statement from Nintendo.
Right.
Uh,
And now I don't I don't know if they were pirating the copies of Melee. They could have had their own disc and just decided to and could have just modded their own version of Melee. You know what I mean?
right.
But either way, Nintendo, there's no way of them to know that, I guess. And so,
No, to know for sure, maybe,
yeah,
but
assuming that
the
they're pirating it, they gave him the axe, um, and like, yeah, it's their property. They can do with it what they want. It belongs to them. Whatever. However, it has left a very sour taste in a lot of people's mouths because you know they there's a really dedicated following for Melee, and like we were saying earlier, there is no other way to play Smash Brothers Melee other than to own a copy on GameCube. That is the
uh,
only way.
let's see. This also reminds me of a a thing in a thing back in 2013.
Yeah, huh.
Uh, let's see. In
We're
a
going
move,
back in
uh,
time.
yeah. Uh, the what was it? Uh, I think it was Evo 13, Evo 2013 uh, was attempting to get permission
Yeah.
from Nintendo to play Super Smash Brothers for their event.
Mm,
Uh,
that's right. That's right. I do remember something about this.
and they contacted Nintendo for permission, and they were turned down. They were asking for permission. Can we we were doing we were
Please,
donating
Daddy
proceeds
Nintendo.
to yeah. So we are donating proceeds to breast cancer relief or breast cancer research rather. Um, we would
Okay.
like to broadcast Super Smash Brothers Melee uh, for uh, for for our purposes, and they were turned down, most likely by the legal department. And so immediately after
Right.
that, you have online articles with headlines reading "Nintendo loves breast cancer," and
Oh
very
God.
shortly after that,
They changed their
Nintendo
statement on it.
reversed the statement that they can, in fact, uh, broadcast Super
Oh,
Smash Brothers for their thing. This,
I'm sure
however,
they did.
right? Um, the this, however, will likely not be reversed uh, uh, as their driving concern with modded versions, modded or otherwise copied versions of their
Copied
game
versions of
is
Melee.
is unfortunately something they are legally required to to oppose. And
Well, let me
uh,
stop you there
mhm.
because that they are legally definitely within their right um to be opposed to this. However, l- people have been doing it for a lot of games for
Oh, they
years.
have
Yeah.
the the but a major issue is that present day copyright law, uh, if you do not uh, if you do not uh, if you do not go after people who you believe are improperly using your intellectual property, if you do not go after them, you are setting a precedence of so you are setting a precedence that
That it is
uh,
okay.
it is okay,
Yeah.
and
No,
uh,
yeah, I
that
totally get that.
that sets in motion the potential for their own intellectual property to be removed from their control, uh, or their absolute control. And Nintendo has been extremely aggressive in trying to retain those rights. So
Right.
facet of that facet of the and I mean, don't get me wrong, Nintendo is one of the companies that is expressly benefiting from that kind of
That kind of
interpretation of copyright and
yeah.
intellectual property law.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. And Nintendo's
the
always been highly defensive about their IP. The thing is, um,
I mean, Nintendo is the only company that has a legal so that can legally create porn based on Mario.
ugh, oh God, had to get that out of my head. You just reminded me that Sega endorses Sonic porn officially, and I have to stop and think for a second. Um, I if I could play devil's advocate
hmm
for just a second,
Yeah, of course.
devil's
I thought I
advocate.
was playing devil's advocate, but sure.
Yeah, yeah. What happened here? We switched roles. Um, I think like Nintendo stands to gain a lot of things from this because using your IP creates exposure. I mean, not for your new games, for an old game that you're no longer selling, but it also, creates a stronger support for Nintendo. Like it, people who play these games, Melee, they're like, it's a very niche and dedicated group of people. You
hmm
have to understand. The people who've been playing this game have been playing it for years.
I never stopped.
They never stopped. And um, I've actually
Those are the people you learn to fear.
I was about to say, those are the people you should be afraid of. Those are the people Chuck Norris checks his closet for.
They never stopped.
They're scary. You can look them up online right now and be afraid. But they also, I've been to a few of these tournaments, and they don't really go to these tournaments to make money. Usually, yeah, there's like an entry fee and a prize, but typically the entry fee is added to a pot, and the whoever wins takes home the pot. You know what I mean? It's not like a huge, at least that I know of, like a huge uh, scheme to make money. It's to have fun and to keep this community and this game alive that people
and
have an
to
appreciation for.
and to reward the best and to reward the best highly skilled players.
Right, right. But it does give Nintendo a certain sense of control over their IP, and that I understand. I just don't agree with it
Oh
in
no,
a
I don't.
way.
I don't agree with it at all.
Yeah,
Like um, there is quite a bit uh, I don't agree with the present implementation
yeah,
of copyright law, because
yeah,
it forces companies to be excessively aggressive and alienate their player base.
yeah.
Um,
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A is another Metroid remake too. Uh,
Yeah,
Another Exhibit B is Pokemon Uranium. Uh,
yeah,
there
yeah.
are there are countless other
Oh God,
fan projects,
so many
projects that took 1 to 5 people years of their
years.
lives, and so years of their life and effort and hard work, and
Mother
to
4.
Mother 4, which is being retooled and
Mm-hmm.
having all references of Mother taken out,
Taken out. Yeah, and good for them.
uh,
I think that's awesome.
and released as their own game as Oddity.
That's right. Yeah. And it's still got a lot of the charm, a lot of the same art style and everything. So they're basically still making the game. They're just not associating it with Mother at all,
Yeah,
other
and
than
they're
in style.
other very strongly in style.
Yeah.
And uh, there is certainly that direction.
Yeah.
Um, and like, okay, my perspective on creativity is that everything, and I mean everything, is fan fiction. Uh,
It's true.
you you uh,
Everything is
like
stolen. Everything is
e- everything is stolen. Everything
yeah.
is, gee, I really like that. I want to do something like
Yeah,
that. That's fan fiction.
exactly.
Like if you can, man, I really admired this real life person. I want to write about them. That's fan fiction. Like that is fan fiction.
Sorry to burst your
Uh,
bubble, ladies and gentlemen.
like, mind you, that is the extremely pedantic and uh, hyper exaggerated
Yeah,
interpretation.
but I
But
agree 100%.
like
Um,
the oversimplified
everybody's
my
inspired.
oversimplified observation of the creative process is it's all fan fiction.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just like how
and
many probably like aneurysms you caused with that.
well, they can listen to the next podcast from their hospital bed. So uh,
Wasn't Twilight, I might be remembering this
it
wrong, but wasn't
no
it
no
based
no.
off of like a Harry
Uh,
Potter fan fiction or
Actually, yeah, it probably was. But in turn, 50 Shades of Grey was fan fiction of Twilight.
Oh,
So,
that's right. That's what it was. That's
uh, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Twilight had some vague Harry Potter roots,
Me neither,
uh,
honestly.
but yeah, like
Yeah.
it's uh, like you take an idea, uh, Like you take an idea, you refine it, and you make it yours.
Exactly. Yeah.
You make it yours.
Yeah.
Like Mario, like Donkey Kong. The original Donkey Kong came on the arcade was supposed to be a Popeye game, but
Yup.
Nintendo couldn't secure the rights, and so
It's true.
they used their existing assets, changed them up a bit, and made Donkey Kong and Jumpman, and Rosalina, not
Yeah.
Rosalina,
I mean, Pauline.
Pauline. Thank you. And that was like Jumpman, Donkey Kong, and Pauline are all OC Do Not Steal,
XPs. Yeah.
Popeye, Bruno, Bluto, my
Bluto.
bad,
Yeah. Whoops.
and Olive Oil.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're
OC
it's
do
all
not
fanfic.
steal.
Yeah, OC Do Not Steal.
Oh God.
Uh,
Got me thinking of like Popeye fan characters. I'm s-
oh
I'm scared
Lord.
that that exists, though I do not doubt it. I do not doubt its existence. Uh,
Or we just invented it.
or we just invented it, which I'm sorry. Or you're welcome.
I Yeah, sure, you do you, guy or
Yeah.
gal.
Um, but yeah, I totally agree. Um, it's crazy to me that they would, and this is, I think Iwata even has a statement where he said, and it's been going around Twitter,
Rest his
so
soul.
yeah, yeah, God rest his soul, where he said, I'm trying to remember the actual quote. I think it was, we should not treat the people. I'm trying to remember it word for word because it was. I don't want to screw it up, but it was something to the effect of we should not treat the people for who create things out of the love for Nintendo as criminals. I think that was the quote. Um,
Let's see.
and people have been circulating that a lot.
Right. Like,
And boy, do we need Iwata's perspective right now.
yeah, like unfortunately, even he would not be able to address the problems,
No, not
the problems that Nintendo, like Iwata
not
promoted a
currently.
lot of very, very good things,
Yeah,
and uh, like Miyamoto, Iwata, and um,
yeah. The programmer guy. I can't remember his
hmm, uh,
name.
let's see.
The three bigwigs.
Shintaro Furukawa is the sitting
Mm.
president of Nintendo. Uh,
Oh, that's right. He may have founded
he's the
it.
present day CEO.
Yeah, and
Uh,
and let me say
and
this
yeah,
also. Um,
mhm.
like I know it's been souring a lot of people's look towards Nintendo, and they've also been saying they're going to just pirate games now, out of spite. Please don't pirate games out of spite, because
Not out of spite.
no, there are a lot of artists that work at Nintendo that put a lot of work into the games
Like
that they create. Um, all we're
they're
saying is it's not fair, but blame the right people, like the artists and the people who are making the games are not the ones behind it. It's the managers, the corporate people. Um,
uh, there's probably also there's probably also a lot of marketing research
right.
in there as well.
That yeah,
There's
yeah, true.
the Now, mind you, Nintendo does operate, generally speaking, a little bit different than other not enough. It's like not they don't operate different enough from all the other major companies, but Nintendo is
Hmm.
generally better and a bit more transparent than
Right.
others.
Yeah.
Uh,
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, this is not ironclad.
Yeah.
Uh, but like Nintendo still does crunch. Nintendo still has things that they could be improving on.
Yeah.
Uh, but in terms of in-house practice, uh,
For sure.
but the uh, like
Are
I
we
think
saying
there's
Nintendo is like the like holier than thou, cannot be touched? No.
no, not at all,
Not at
not at
all.
all. Like if people at Nintendo, Nintendo of Europe, Japan, or America are aware of things, please bring them, please bring them
Please.
to light. Like
Please
they
bring
need,
them up
like
because
the right people need to be held accountable, but
exactly. Yeah.
like don't like it can't like uh unlawful, unethical, and
Yeah.
inhumane things need to be brought to light,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there no one is uh is excluded from that.
Yeah.
Uh,
That absolutely deserves to be, you know, that deserves
like
to have light shed on it.
Nintendo has its own weird practices,
Yeah.
and it operates on like orange green morality compared to the red blue of everyone else. Uh,
Yeah.
and the uh, like you have your other big, especially American companies, but they're not exclusive to America, that do all kinds of
No, no, not
questionable, shady, and
God no.
unethical things.
Yeah, not at all.
But and just because Nintendo is different doesn't mean they shouldn't be held accountable.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
but there are like you have your Activisions, your Ubisofts, uh,
And your EAs,
and your EAs
I
that
would not
are
put Nintendo in the same camp as EA. You know what I mean?
not in the same camp. They have their own camp.
Right next
Uh,
door, maybe.
yeah, they have their own camp in the county over,
Yeah.
uh, but like
But
uh,
they are a company, and like any company, they are.
they have priorities and they have interests,
Yeah.
and those and neither of those are necessarily in the consumers or the employees benefit.
Or the employees. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
uh
I just think this little thing definitely needs attention. It's kind of gross, you know. Um,
yeah, the like the cease and desist orders on fan projects, that's something we can't address at the moment, like
right.
major change on the until there is major change in the copyright
Law.
uh copyright area.
Yeah,
There's really nothing that
that you can
we
do.
can do that we can do or make or like proposition Nintendo to do,
Yeah, unfortunately.
because the there's uh the with regard to with regard to artificial scarcity, there with regard to artificial scarcity, Nintendo could be doing way better.
Yeah,
uh
for sure.
all all companies could be doing way better. um
That's true
and
too.
Nintendo needs to, like, I don't like using terms like it's 2020 or stuff like that. Uh,
Right.
but
But
like
goddamn it, it's
there
2020.
there are certain forces at play. The way technology works today, the way the internet and the way people interact with the internet today, Nintendo needs to work harder to be so it needs to work harder to address the uh, to address the needs. Well, okay, the wants of their
Yeah,
consumers. Uh,
agreed.
there
Yeah,
is
100%.
not a lot. Like they could be doing a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could be doing so much more,
So
and
much
it's
more.
not even their uh
Yeah, like why not collaborate with some of these creators, you know, and help fund a fan project.
uh
They can't do that for every fan project, obviously,
not
but
for every fan project. In
yeah.
fact, if I remember correctly, there was a uh so there was a fan project, I think, with regards to Metal Gear Solid, uh,
Yeah.
that Konami, in the same month, they endorsed and offered to assist in the creation of this fan project,
Huh.
in the fan project, and then in the same month, cease and desisted the same fan project. Uh,
Wrap your head around that.
the so here's the thing: there are a lot of people working at Nintendo that are aware of these realities that you and I are speaking of. That
Sure. Oh
Nintendo
yeah.
is uh, like it's not like
It's not news.
please support the artists and the programmers and the designers that
Yes.
put a lot of hard work, that put a lot of their
Their
time and
lives.
effort and energy, and
Yeah.
these games are those people's legacy.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
please support them however you can. uh, but most people there, uh, I'd say a good half of people there would like to see more things done by fans that isn't just art, or well, I mean, it's all art, but like
Right.
that isn't just illustrations,
I get
that
what you
isn't
mean.
just, yeah,
Yeah, that's
like,
other types of works of art and what have you.
and they so to kind of shill Woolly Versus again, he has a video called PSA, a message to unofficial fan game creators. And everyone should watch that because it is criminal that it has less than 250,000 views. Uh,
we name
and
drop Wooly so much we might have to start paying him royalties pretty soon.
very soon. But yeah, like Woolly Versus PSA, a message to unofficial game fan creators. He offers the suggestion, well, that several of the fan games that are cease and desisted come out anyways, sometimes in various forms. Sometimes, oh, here's an
Yeah.
incomplete. So here we don't know how this incomplete version of our old game got out. Whoops. Or or
Oh yeah.
more
Or in the
uh,
form of like
or more constructively, there is oddity
right,
and
things like that.
yeah, there oddity and various other games that take the spirit of the games that the people wanted to make successors to, uh,
Right.
and turn them into games that don't that can't be associated with existing brands and copyrights, and then that allows creators to have their own brands and copyright.
Mm.
Uh, they're
Yeah.
like, I personally don't think that should be the solution every time,
Right.
because like some people have a driving force that is very tightly knit to a brand, and I wish more people could finish projects of that nature.
Of that brand. Yeah.
Of that nature, of that vision.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
there are like for every
I would
for
love to see a Kirby fan game get made someday, you know.
yeah, like there's I'm sure they're out there.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure they're out there for sure, but they, you know,
Uh
I
and the but there's also just as many, like I know Sega generally kind of has somewhat is much more relaxed
yeah,
when it comes
Sega
to fan games, like especially complete high quality fan games.
they
Uh,
yeah, they actually collaborated with the guys who made Sonic Mania. That was
yeah,
a
like
fan
uh,
project.
that was primarily made by people outside of Sega,
Yeah, for sure.
uh, and but like I'm thinking of games like Sonic. What is it called? Sonic Blast 2. It's a Doom mod. Uh,
With Sonic?
yeah, it's a Sonic Doom mod.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
it is a 3D open source Sonic the Hedgehog game,
Oh
and
my god.
it is the it is a like it is so well done that
Really?
it is so well done that like you can look it up for yourself at
What's
www.srb2.org, uh,
I'm gonna look this
and
up right now.
it is a Sonic game made in the Doom engine. Uh, there's another game.
What the fuck?
Yeah, uh, hang on,
Oh
Doom
wow. Yeah, this does look
engine,
pretty good.
Doom engine X or
Huh.
Mega Man X.
When you said
Uh,
Sonic in the Doom engine, my mind immediately went to Sonic holding a double barrel shotgun and walking around.
no, this is a third person. This is a third person Doom engine game
Doom engine game, yeah.
where you play behind Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, and they all play differently. Levels are big and wide and can be navigated by each character in different ways because every character is played differently.
Right.
Uh,
This
alternatively,
looks
you could
interesting.
go you could go the route of Highway Acceleroid Booster, uh, which which is another Doom mod game that was made with the idea of I want to make a Mega Man X game in the Doom engine, uh,
Oh
and
boy. So many
yeah,
Doom games.
Highway Acceleroid Booster is a uh, is an original property inspired by inspired by Mega Man, uh, inspired by the idea of a Mega Man deathmatch game, but he really liked the jumping and air dash maneuvers, and so
Huh.
he and then he just moved away from the Mega Man. Well, not moved away from. He made the
Retooled it.
aesthetic his own. Yeah, he made the so he took inspirations from Mega Man, a lot of inspirations from Mega Man, retooled it into hit their own original character and setting.
I see.
And yeah, like if
Hmm.
you can go
Yeah, I'm
to
checking out the website right now.
yeah Terminus on YouTube, you can find the trailer at Terminus S13's channel, uh, Highway Acceleroid Booster,
Huh.
uh,
That actually
and
looks pretty good.
these are the things people do. Like these are the things that people
Do
have
out of
that people
passion.
do. Yeah, it's out of passion.
Yeah,
They like let them let the creativity flow.
I agree. Yeah. Why stifle creativity like this? Why stifle creativity at all? You know?
Yeah,
Um,
there's people fans can adapt. Like
sure.
you want to do your Mega Man fan game, and they're you want to do your Mega Man fan game. There's there's a Mega Man Legends Unity project that's out there. There's also that
There's
uh,
that
there's that
robot.
fan game that's strongly inspired by the Mega Man Legends aesthetic
Yo,
that you linked me to.
I think it's called Ga- I'm just gonna butcher the name, Gamma Girl or something
Game
like
Girl.
that. Mm, uh,
Uh,
Cat Girl Robot.
what the hell is Mighty Med? Uh,
We
sorry, I
discovering new
found
fan game. Yeah.
apparently
Gabe,
Mega
no.
Man Legends.
Um,
Delta Gal.
Delta Gal is what it is. Yeah.
You
Okay.
you were
It was
close.
on
You
the
were
tip of
close.
my tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Delta Gal is
Yeah.
a game based on or inspired by Mega Man Legends, and there's a demo
Very
out
much
right
so.
now.
Yeah. That
So,
fully playable.
so like, since we cannot so since we cannot support games like Mega Man Legends
Mm-hmm.
through through legitimate means, like support these projects that are like support projects like Delta Gal
Yeah.
that are based on Mega Man Legends and pull strongly from the aesthetic, from the implications of the setting. Uh,
Yeah.
the like uh,
Yeah. If companies
like
don't want to give us those games,
yeah,
then we'll do it. All
yeah,
right.
exactly. Like there's and some people out there will take that more literally, and like
Right.
more power to you. I hope you avoid the C and D.
Yeah.
Uh, but like if you can draw inspiration from source material and do something with it and put something out there that is your own,
Mm-hmm.
please do that. Like not instead, because I don't want to I don't want to stifle your creativity, and some people just really enjoy a specific so like some people just really enjoy particular brands. So
Yeah.
like you do you, but the like the I think the path that will have the least risk of heartache
Of
is going to
consequences.
be yeah of
Yeah.
heartache and consequence is going to be the path where you make something your own.
Oh yeah.
And like that's
Absolutely.
what originality is you take the things that inspire you, you put them together, and you put them together in the way that only you can, and
And it
we
comes
all
out
get to enjoy the result.
Yeah, exactly. We all get to reap the rewards, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I am a huge supporter of, you know, spreading art, the spread and sharing of information and ideas, and I think that's how we will progress, you know, in this world we live in, in our society. Um,
But yeah, like so Nintendo and other companies should have more like
more involvement, I would say.
more yeah more involvement, more like there was
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's the what was it, the Nintendo Partners thing with YouTube, where
Yeah,
if you want to be if you want to put up Nintendo material, then you have to be part of our partners program or you're not going to get ad revenue.
right.
uh, and that has died like that.
Yeah,
Like they cannot enforce it.
yeah,
Like there are too many people. It was an archaic and off color way of
yeah. It
uh,
kind of blew up in their
trying to address.
faces a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah, and well, I guess the good thing is through the aftermath, Nintendo, has learned that they cannot enforce that, and they're a little looser now on Let's Players and people who play their games. Um,
which is a good thing.
yeah,
People being able to share the things that they enjoy and being part of a community and social, those are good things.
those are
And
positives. Yeah,
the you have the benefit of people playing some of their favorite old games that inspired them to take this route and sharing it with people, especially younger people that have never seen these games, uh, never seen these older games, and
Oh yeah.
they will want to see, well, how can I get this game? Oh, you can't. Well, why can't I?
Why
Because
not?
it has not been released or re-released for 15
And
years.
that's the thing too, is some of these games, like Mario 64, man, is a classic. Like that game is a part of history and will go
It
down as history.
Yeah,
Um,
uh
it
like
is it.
the original Mario, Doom, Mario 64,
Yeah, all of those games.
all of these games are watershed moments for the industry and the medium.
Yeah,
It's uh
and I want to continue to play these games and have my children probably play these games at some point. Just
oh
so
yeah,
they can
I
have the same experience.
like I want to be able to share, I'm a big fan of Kingdom Hearts, and I want to be able to share it with I want to be able to share it with other people. And fortunately,
Yeah,
Square Enix has been very forward with maintaining.
so good about it.
Yeah, they've been pretty good about
Yeah,
maintaining all the important stuff.
yeah,
Like they didn't remake the weaker entries like
like the
358 over 2 days
in like the
and
mobile game,
Code.
phone game, I think. Yeah. But
Well,
that's another thing is like why doesn't Nintendo just release sorry to cut you off, Gabe.
yeah, no problem, no
But
problem. Do it to it.
I just like in my brain, why don't they just release like a Smash Brothers fucking Legacy collection where you can play all the Smash Brothers up to now, um, or you can get Smash Ultimate. Like they should just fucking do that where you have Smash 64, Melee, Brawl. Well, you can maybe leave out Brawl.
Hey, it's got its community,
It has its community. They exist. Um,
and not just Project M.
not just Project M. Yeah. Um, which also I think got a cease and desist from Nintendo.
Probably.
Which it like as much as they've done to that game, it might as well be its own fucking game. Um,
Yeah,
and but you know what I mean? Just like, but Nintendo doesn't. They don't want to do that. I don't know why. They
because they risk losing control of their intellectual property,
of their IP. Yeah.
and
Or
like
they're
that.
scared they won't buy the Smash Ultimate, which is silly because everybody and their mother has bought Smash Ultimate at this point.
Smash Ultimate, it's great.
Yeah.
It's not Melee, but
Yeah.
Melee isn't 64, and
Yeah.
Brawl is Melee. Like Nintendo's
Yeah.
penchant for we're not going to make a game unless we can innovate
Yeah.
uh, is like it's done wonderful things, but it's also held so many things back.
Right. Yeah.
It has actively harmed their
It is
franchises.
it is their
Uh,
greatest strength and their greatest weakness.
yeah,
Um,
like uh, F-Zero. It's a racing game. Make more racing games. Well, how can
yeah.
we innovate racing games
You don't. It's a
that
racing
aren't
game.
Mario Kart?
Yeah.
uh, and
And
like
that backfired when it came to Star Fox Zero because that people actually don't like the innovations of that game.
that they specifically the split controls the the simultaneous split controls between the gamepad and the
In the
television.
television, yeah.
If there was a way to play that game without relying on that,
On that,
people
be
would
perfect.
have loved it. It would have
Yeah,
been the StarCraft or the Star Fox game
it would have been a
that
great game.
Platinum made and everyone loved.
Yeah.
Uh, but also another thing that has been stymied is the the Paper Mario franchise,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
like I don't know if it. Well, I don't think the let's innovate every time isn't the thing that has stymied the Paper Mario franchise.
Not so much.
It was the it was the requirement from Nintendo that you cannot make new original characters.
For the Mario
You
universe.
cannot deviate from the baseline designs of Mario characters. There are no If there is a Goomba, it looks like a Goomba.
Yeah.
There cannot be Goombellas, there cannot be Goombarios.
Yeah. Except Toadette. She exists for some
Well,
reason.
like Toadette,
She's the Smurfette.
Toadette existed before Paper Mario and the Thousand Year
That's
Door.
true. Yeah.
And there is the like if there's a Toad character, it looks like a Toad character. The only exception being Captain Toad. At this point,
like standout toads, are the
Yeah.
only thing that can exist, which is such a weird stance to me. It makes me think of like
the like Mario and Paper Mario and the Origami King, for example, is the only places that the artists could deviate from designs is with the origami enemies. They
Right.
couldn't deviate. They couldn't deviate or introduce new Mario people.
which I can't help but think that was the developers' way of like kind of finding a loophole.
Yeah, exactly. Like they could only make original, unique designs with
For, like, new
origami
species.
characters.
Yeah, essentially.
But they're gone are the days of Mario and the Thousand Year Door of unique background characters, and it's like
It's a shame.
it's a major shame. Also, there are a number of issues. There are a number of issues with sticker
Star.
Sticker Star,
Yeah,
and
I was just gonna say, like, that being said, Sticker Star was a very, like, innovative. I don't know if that's the right word. That sounds too positive.
it
derailed from the series quite a
yeah,
bit.
it derailed from the series. There is no incentive to fight enemies.
Yeah.
You only lose things by fighting enemies.
Yeah.
There is very there's very little forward momentum in your gameplay experience.
Right.
And I don't know much about what was it, the one with the colors.
Color Splash. Yeah.
Color Splash, and I have
Yeah.
yet to play Origami King, but I hear it's more positive than the others. The battle system is very different.
Yeah. For sure.
And despite their artistic limitations with the Mario cast,
Right.
I think they managed to get away with some things with the origami characters. So
I've heard a lot of the same too. That it's, um, especially like it's probably the best out of the ones,
the ones after Thousand Year Door.
Yeah. But that being said, it's still a shame that they can't do certain things.
Yeah, that the creative teams, that the in-house, or okay, not in-house, but the people that are responsible for making these spin-offs, the Superstar Saga games, the Paper Mario games, which I don't believe are necessarily made in-house most of the time.
No, yeah, I think they're made by a third-party company. Though I cannot remember their name at the moment. I think they're called Alpha Dream.
Superstar.
Unfortunately, I think Alpha Dream said they'll no longer.
Yeah, Alpha Dream and Vanpool.
Yeah, and they'll no longer be making that series. So if it does continue, It
It'll
won't be.
be
Yeah.
it won't be by the people who have made it what it is today.
Yeah. To this day. Yeah, which is unfortunate, but you can
Uh,
only hope that the next company that takes the torch will be respectful and do it justice.
yeah, the uh, but yeah, there is
Yeah, and that's just the thing. It's like it goes back to the same thing where I'm like, don't why stifle creativity, man? Like, don't do that shit. Let your artists be
like there
artists.
like there are like there is some wisdom to there is some wisdom to creativity thrives from limitations,
That's true. Yeah.
like there uh, but there are certain limitations. Like if you have too many limitations, you're not going to get something very good.
Right.
Uh, and
Essentially.
the uh, but yeah, if they would collaborate more often, if
Yeah.
they would ease off of restrictions, if they would if they would provide and offer access to their massive library of games
Yeah.
that people want to play,
Yeah.
people want to discover.
People are
They
willing to pay money for these games, you know?
and like yes, it's I I like Nintendo is a company. It's staffed by people. It is ultimately limited in what it can and cannot do.
Right.
Uh, their if their emulation efforts have been if their emulation efforts have been
Any
stymied,
yeah.
stymied from corporate decisions or otherwise, like if they like Nintendo's greatest
Yeah.
strength is their library and it, Nintendo's greatest strength is their library
I would
and
say their library and their how they embrace, um, doing things differently.
yeah, like
um,
does making a game fun first,
yeah.
and there are uh like not every Nintendo game is necessarily fun, or at least it's not every Nintendo game is my kind of fun,
Right.
which is also perfectly legitimate. That's fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
For sure.
there, but have and offering different kinds of fun is extremely important. Much like that. What's
Oh
that
yeah.
Switch game with the workout band? Uh,
Ring Fit Adventures,
yeah, Ring Fit Adventures.
which, by
So
the
that's a very
way,
unique style of fun.
that game is a fucking juggernaut, and I think it's dead serious. I think at its current moment, um, it's outsold Smash Brothers, and
Damn,
yeah, and
like
is only beaten by like maybe Pokemon and Animal Crossing. Um,
fair enough.
yeah,
Like, yeah, the like Ring Fit Adventures, like a lot, like they put out all these weird, unique things like Ring
yeah,
Fit Adventures and Splatoon
in Splatoon, yeah,
uh, and like there is so much fun and weirdness and charm and creativity coming out of Nintendo
yeah,
and from all of these smaller ventures. But when it comes to their iconic properties, it feels like there's a bit less creativity. Like Breath
yeah.
of the Wild was a breath of fresh air, uh,
Pardon the pun.
but pun intended. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted to say breath of fresh air first, but uh, I managed to catch
The
myself.
Legend of Zelda: Breath of Fresh Air.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Uh, it's great, and the next game is going to be going forward with those same design conceits,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
that should be good. Like Breath of the Wild was good.
Yeah.
It was limited in several ways, but like holy shit, that game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Holy shit, that game.
yeah.
Just,
Uh,
man.
there is nothing like there. is a lot to appreciate about Breath of the Wild, and the next game is going to hopefully take what made Breath of the Wild so good and fun
Fingers
and
crossed. Yeah.
and iterate on it and add more.
Yeah.
Like the thing with innovation and iteration is most people that enjoy a certain thing is they just want more of it.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
true, man.
don't like like uh Patrick Boyven of uh Castle Super Beast and Pat Stares At
Hmm.
kind of put it so so they broached this topic some time back, but
Yeah.
uh like Nintendo isn't releasing F-Zero game because like publicly they've stated
They
we
want to
want to be able
innovate
to iterate
first. Yeah.
on F-Zero G, or what was it, the
Yeah.
the
I
one on a
think
GameCube,
I
the
think
last
that
one
was
to ever come
G.
out.
Yeah.
uh, and
Or GX or
uh,
something. Yeah.
but Patrick Boyven brings up the good point that you want to know what game that has done the exact same thing every time and people love it every time.
Oh Lord.
Ace Combat.
Mmm. Ace
Like
Combat. Yeah.
Ace Combat iterates itself, but it is ultimately the same. It is ultimately a lot of the same at its core.
Uh,
Monster Hunter is ultimately the same game, and it iterates every time.
or here's an
Uh,
even better example. Fucking Gran Turismo is pretty much the same game, with slight iterations, um, and people still eat it up. And
oh yeah,
it's a
like
fucking racing game, you know.
yeah, like I played Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
It was fun. I liked it.
it's a
So
great, it's a
I
good
pick up
series.
I pick up the what was it called, the Viper,
Hell
and
yeah,
like play
dude.
that because it was blue and white stripes, and that was cool.
I
uh,
pick up the Ferrari and I don't look back at any other car, and I'm just like, hell yeah.
uh,
But
but yeah,
yeah.
like most people want what they like and more.
If I play your game and my only complaint is that I wish
I
there was more of it to play, you've done something right.
Yeah, you've done something right, and
Yeah,
like don't like stop reinventing the wheel. The wheel is
exactly.
fine. The
Yeah,
wheel
yeah.
is solved.
The wheel works.
You have everything going for it. Do not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
Uh, like
unless it's
make it
necessary.
make it thicker, make it smaller, make it like change the tread,
Sure,
but
yeah.
don't reinvent it.
Don't reinvent it. Exactly.
Yeah,
Splatoon 2 is a great example of that. They practically, uh, I mean, I would disagree with this, but they, to a lot of people, they practically repackaged Splatoon 1, just polished it up and then re-released it. That's great.
yeah, that's
That's
fine.
that's
That's what
fine.
people wanted.
It's a great game. I love it.
Like,
And I play it to this day.
yeah,
So, yeah,
uh,
like people don't mind playing the same thing. In fact, it's one of the most frustrating things about people.
I've been playing Kingdom Hearts for 19 years.
Yeah, people are okay with playing Super Smash Brothers fucking Melee, not because it's
For 18
for
years.
18, yeah, 18 years now? Wow, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's a good game, it's not because it's balanced. That's
It's
for
because
damn
they
sure.
enjoy it.
It's because they enjoy it. Yeah. Um,
They that like they I mean
they
I uh
they have a love.
more power to the people, and again addressed in the fighting game episode, but the people
Right.
that commit their time to mastering those kinds of games.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure. That is a
you have
skill.
you got professional fighting game players, you have speedrunners, and
Yeah.
like all the masters of skill and chance and manipulation that are out there. Uh, they uh, like those people are going to play the same game over and 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 over, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's totally
Like
fine.
you're never going to recapture.
Nope.
So you're never going to recapture those people.
That's not
Uh,
your audience. Yeah.
yeah, that is not your audience. Like they and mind they do play other games.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
they have
probably.
they have those but those people have their hobby, and their
Yeah.
hobby is Street Fighter Alpha, Street
Yeah.
Fighter 2 Alpha,
Third
uh,
strike. Yeah.
Third Strike, and all that.
Yeah.
Uh,
They probably have played Street Fighter 5 at some point. But
yeah, and they were like, Alpha's or Third Strike is better,
yeah.
and and immediately went back to it.
Right.
But some didn't. Like
Yeah.
uh, yeah, like it's the same thing with like the MMO chasers. Everyone wants to be WoW. Like all the major MMOs want to be WoW, but you're not going to be WoW. You're not going to capture the audience
No.
of the people who have spent
Years.
16 years
Yeah.
playing that
This
game
fucking game.
to
Yeah.
playing this game. There
To
are
this
people who
day.
went back to older versions of the
Yeah.
game because they liked what they had 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, man. It's
and
true.
like you're just not like
It's like Tom says, that's not a lost sale, that's a sale you were never going to have.
yeah.
You know?
It's you're
Just
never
gotta
you're
count
never
your
going to have
losses.
that sale. That person is never going to buy your game.
Yeah.
Like just offer like don't try and steal them from WoW. Offer them something different.
Yeah.
Offer them a different experience.
Yeah.
And like in my personal like I could not like I don't think I've ever played WoW longer than like 5 consecutive hours.
Yeah,
Uh,
me neither.
over the course that I've tried it. I think I've like 3-4 times I tried the old Warhammer MMO
I just couldn't get
for a
into
few
it.
hours.
Yeah.
But like I mean I started Final Fantasy 14 last year, and I got through the first two expansions.
Yeah.
Haven't reached Shadowbringer. My subscription I've suspended my subscription for the time being, but like I want to get back to it because it's a fun game.
Yeah.
I like it's the first MMO that I ever like committed to.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
like it's a fun game. I want to get back to it.
Yeah.
It works for me.
I hear it's
but
really good now.
oh, it's like 2.0 and onwards, and especially Heaven's Word expansion and the trial version, and beginners version of like if you just pay for your subscription,
Yeah.
you're going to get the base game, Realm Reborn, and you're going to be able to, just with the subscription, not purchasing any of the expansions, you're going to get the first 60 levels. That is months of content.
Already, out of the way.
Yeah, there's months of content if you play casually.
And that's another thing. Final Fantasy 14 upon launch didn't do all that well, but they kept at it.
They reinvented it. They literally killed everyone on the servers when it went down to be remade. And then Realm Reborn is 2.0, and that is the new starting point. There are videos out there about how 1.0 ended, and it's totally like everyone on the server who was active at the time got, like, to this day, the most amazing cutscene of all time. Like,
which one is
it? It is. Let's see. Where is he?
The one with Shanatoto and
End of an Era. Or wait, maybe it's Flames of Truth. No, it's End of an Era. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, it's either Flames of Truth or End of an Era. But it's like Final Fantasy 14 Uh, it's so amazing. Like that cutscene being like I was not there for the closing of 1.0, but I've seen videos of people recording the last 30 minutes of Final Fantasy 14 before A Realm Reborn,
Right.
and like it goes from gameplay to a cutscene that everyone on the server
Got to see.
got to see as the servers went down. Uh, like the servers were down for over a year, and then it came back to Realm Reborn, and
Oh my
like
god.
holy shit, there is
That's great.
like that cutscene is
Amazing.
staggering. Like that cutscene is amazing. Uh,
Well, give
where Square Enix doing cutscenes right for decades.
since yeah, forever.
um,
Well, you got any closing thoughts, Gabe? We got to wrap this up.
yeah, we
Um,
do. Like
I'm getting hungry.
yeah, I think
Pretty much what we
Nintendo
stated, yeah.
yeah, Nintendo just needs to open. Nintendo needs to relax, needs to open up. Copyright law needs to change.
Yeah,
Uh,
for
and
sure.
like in the meantime, I hope Nintendo continues to put out good quality games that are worth the
Same.
money. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is out. I want to get that
Yeah,
because
same.
I really enjoyed Hyrule Warriors and Breath of the Wild.
You know, it's causing like a disconnect in my brain, because like I I played Breath of the Wild and I'm seeing Link like in the same art style walk up to hordes of moblins.
It's like I don't have the inventory to fight this.
Yeah, and I'm like, hold on a second. This is
How
the
many
same.
ancient blades do I have?
Yeah, exactly.
How many royal
How
guardsman
many,
weapons do I
yeah,
have?
how many royal greatswords do I have? Let me check real quick. Is Urbosa's Fury ready? But
Huh,
yeah, I definitely plan on getting it because it looks super good, and
yeah.
yeah, like I hope it does really good. Like the other Hyrule Warrior games were great, so.
Mm-hmm.
But in other news, me and Gabe are also working on a little project that I don't want to talk about too much, but
Uh,
I'm gonna
yeah,
just
it's
drop that
uh,
right
old,
here.
yeah, old idea with it's an old idea that we're giving some giving some attention. Maybe in a few months we can talk about it a bit more
Divulge, yeah,
decisively.
yeah. But yeah, just be on the
I
lookout
can
for
be
that.
your first interview.
Yeah, sweet, my first interview on the podcast. Oh
Uh,
man, with a real game designer. But yeah, I hope you guys
hey,
have a good one.
you've made a game before I have, so
I guess this is true. Yeah. I I did it. I did it, Mom. Aren't you
you done
proud of
did
me?
good. You done did good, son.
Yeah, you done did good. But anyways, that's gonna be it for now, guys. I hope y'all have a good one. Be safe and have a happy Thanksgiving and all that stuff. Take care.
Take care.